How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting and welcome back to Muv-Luv Monday, where we are here. We had a very emotional and honestly a very sweet kind of cooking. I almost don't want to call it a date because, you know, Yuuya, that situation's super complicated now, and I don't know exactly how it's going to end up playing out, but push comes to shove. Unless some real creepy lines are crossed, like, there's not going to be anything beyond, like, the potential, like, family relationship, but that's so complicated, too. Like, I'm not even sure if that's going to happen. Yui kind of implied by giving him, like, the inherited, like, sword, which is essentially a symbol of, you know, the birthright of her family. I feel like she intends to potentially bring him into the family, even if it means she would be giving up her place at head of the family. But would that even be allowed or accepted, considering his upbringing, how he's American, and all of that? So I have no idea what's going to happen there. But we're not going to be thinking about that too heavily, because we're shifting gears and looking like we're going to be focusing on Cryska and Inia's crisis situations that they're facing. So let's take a look at how this is all going to play out and see what happens next. But yeah, as while the Shiranui Second's getting its phase 3, we're going to see if the Scarlet Twins are going to be able to pull out a rabbit of their own from the hat of the Soviet Union. That's a weird analogy. Let's just pretend I didn't say that, and let's jump right back into the story. Synchronization coefficient decreasing, impossible to maintain current levels.
アンプルを正常に打ち込めたのだな。
限界値まで投薬しています。
追加で3単位だ。早くしろ。
ですが、これ以上は接しな少尉にまで影響が。
その見極めをするのは私だ。早くやれ。
This guy.
は。
あれ、スカーレットツインかな。
何か疑問でも？
いや、見慣れちまったせいなのか、全然すごいとは思えないんだよな。
So, what's going on here? It's like the Scarlet Twins are flying. Are these guys on patrol right now, or are they doing a joint exercise? It doesn't make sense that they would be training together, so maybe they're just kind of like observing?
同感ね。付け加えるなら、明らかにこの間のエレメント戦とも違うわ。
Yeah, that whole program is looking real shaky all of a sudden. That's really weird.
調整って点を差し引いてもかなり妙だ。気迫もキレも何もね。
あ、もしかして複雑って言っても後ろに計測機積んでるだけじゃねえのか？乗ってるのは補充されたイーダル小隊の奴らでさ。
計測機はさておき、補充人員の訓練をあんな風にやる理由ある
？That's a good question, because they don't know that, but that is exactly what they are kind of doing. They're kind of preparing to bench Cryska for whatever reason.
帰ってくる。
コマンドポストよりアルゴス3、4、各機。当該区域はただいまをもって侵入禁止となった。速やかに退去せよ。
Have they lost control? That could be bad.
いやいや。ここ干渉地帯だけど。
アルゴス3、その干渉地帯を含む隣接した演習場一帯の使用をソ連軍が申請、即時許可された。繰り返す。速やかに退去せよ。
Yeah, I wonder if there's an issue.
アルゴス3了解。おいおい、何を追っ始めよってんだよ。
アルゴス4了解。見せたくないものがあるんでしょ。ハンガーも一緒、演習内容も筒抜けじゃね。
Normally, I would say that they might be intentionally doing this to try and, like, misguide or give misdirection, but at the same hand, based on what we also saw at the control room, that doesn't seem to be the case at all.
ソ連軍の申請に即時許可が下りるのも、そういう事情だと思うわよ。さあ、帰りましょう。
日程修正がこちらの負担になったことを理解してもらいたいな。
Oh, it's bursting for you. Oh, I'm sure.
それに関しては了承するが、コーコンの計画は第24次補正後を予定していたはずだが。
補正後では作戦に間に合わない。現在被験体は精神、肉体ともに安定。最適の状態なんだ。先行被験体で収集した戦闘データが同期できることも判明している。
Okay. Combat data collected from previous test subjects can be synchronized across. Again, like they're talking about like people, but they're talking about them almost like they're machines. And the idea that so combat data collected can be synchronized across. So are they saying that like they're testing them and they can kind of give them like a cocktail of the drugs that they're using, right? And they get a level of performance. And then they can alter the cocktail to something different, get a different level of performance. But then if they reapply the old like mixture, they get the same results like consistently. So is that what he's trying to refer to there? Because otherwise it doesn't really make sense that you could use data from previous runs and somehow get the same results by uploading that data. Like that doesn't really make much sense unless the data is actually like a collection of their memories. Like they're able to like do a flash like capture of their brain structure and then recreate it. That's a thing that people have toyed with the idea wise. I mean that's essentially what a lot of like Steins Gate and Steins Gate Zero like was talking about. It's the fundamentals of the technology that was used in that story. So it could be along similar lines, but that's just odd.
第三計画中に成功した実験を進めるだけで難易度も高くない。
Okay. So yeah, again, it's Alternative 3. This is the heritage of that program.
いつ問題が発生するかもわからないんだ。今のうちに処置しておきたい。
クォーコンの使用可能時間は長くはないはずだが。
平均生存時間を超える前に次の素材が揃う段取りになっている。問題は何もない。
Okay, so again, what did he say before? Cocoon. And they're saying it's survival time. Cocoon. A cocoon usually is the reference is something undergoing a metamorphosis, so changing from one form to another. And it sounds like they might be using something in a cocoon-like state as part of the piloting program. Maybe what we're looking at is that these artificial humans that they have, that have these latent psychic abilities, are very short-lived, and so maybe part of the issue is the fact that like they literally burn out and can only be flown for a few years before like their natural lifespan just crumbles away. But again, that's not really like that would imply that Cryska could be in danger of just having her life burn out rather than her being phased out of the program because she's having like weird bonding with forces and people beyond the control of the Soviet Union, specifically the control of the program. There's so many questions, and the way they talk about like the Scarlet Twins and these other pilots makes it difficult to really determine what they're saying because it can be it's so detached in viewing these like beings. Even if they're artificial, they're still beings, but they still view them more like a machine, and it makes it difficult to really see what they're talking about.
許可をいただこうか。タイ
It feels like Sandek's getting pushed up against a wall. God darn.
へえ、図面で見た時よりごっつい感じだな。
I'm seeing some of the frills that are added, like those kind of jagged pieces, and the wing blades on the shoulders and the head look a little different. But so far, it doesn't look too different.
そうね。
Color me surprised. It doesn't resemble the Black Widow too that much. Rather, it looks like the logical evolution of the Shiranui Second.
やあやあ、皆さん、お揃いで。
Of course we are.
ご機嫌ね。
まあね。あ、そうだ、ゆうや。
What?
完成ユニットだけど、複座にして後部席に計測機積んでるからよ。データ収集急がねえと、イーダルとの演習に間に合わないからさ。
Interesting. So now it's a double-seater as well. Is that just because, like I said, like they want to get like the measurements going for this one, or do they intend it to eventually become a double-seater, maybe in the hopes that they could replicate some of the talents that they're witnessing with the Brakut? All right.
しかし、まるでブラックウィドウ2の開発を体験できたみたいで楽しかったわ。
I'm sure you did. If you like the Black Widow 2 so much, go put a ring on it.
だって、俺に言わせりゃ歴史に翻弄された世界最強戦術機だぜ。ドクトリンの転換さえなければ、ラプターの地位を勝ち取ったのはそいつだったかもしれないんだ。
Yeah, it sounds like a beautiful machine, and the pictures you sent were really good. Like I'm grateful for the one somebody listened in the video and actually posted pictures of it for me in the Discord. I really appreciate that.
そういうのかっこいいじゃん。キュンとくるじゃん。
まともに寝てないからハイになってるんだな。
That's also probably true. He isn't. Believe it or not, this is what Vincent's been like from the start when TSS were involved.
だけどハイネマンさんも満足だろうな。こんなところで YF にかけた思いをもう一回注げるんだから。
That's not quite what's happening here, isn't it? Only the frame is similar.
いや、実はそうでもないんだよな、これが。
I mean, even if you like, obviously frame is a completely different idea, but the idea too is like the reason why these parts are being included is likely to incorporate what I would guess Heinemann believes are the best parts of the design philosophy that went into the Black Widow. So it's not just the frame. It's going to be like other little bits and pieces that he felt would be worthy of, you know, maintaining, progressing. How so?
ブラックウィドウ2がアメリカ軍機にしては珍しく近接格闘戦まで考慮された機体だったのは知ってるか？
Okay, keep going.
ブラックウィドウ2は多任務戦術機だった。性能面で言えば間違いなく歴史に名を残しただろう戦術機だ。近接、遠距離、集団格闘戦、何でもござれの万能機としてな。
Okay, so if he's making the claim that it could have not only done a good job at close quarters and crowd control, but at long range as well, I understand maybe the philosophy changed, but why would that shut down Black Widow 2 if it was that good at that? Was the Raptor just so much superior at long range that it overshadowed the multi-purpose like talent of the Black Widow 2, despite the fact that Black Widow 2 was very good? It's less that when it came to just what they maybe the metrics they really only cared about at the time when it was being considered was the long range, and at that time the Raptor was just superior, maybe even just a tiny bit.
で、この特性はタイプ94も同じだ。ポジションごとに装備を変えることで近接にも遠距離にも対応できる機体として設計されている。
Alright.
この2機は基本思想が似ている。ということは基本構造にも共通点がある。
じゃあ、ハイネマンを起用したのは、最初から技術流用を狙って、ということかしら。
I guess it maybe wouldn't be that obvious from outside the perspective, because we did see some background talks with Heinemann about like phase 3, but yeah.
流用というとわからないけど、似せるつもりがあったのは間違いないだろうな。もっとも、それも簡単な話じゃないけどな。
Yeah, imagine. Anytime, like, I actually had a really cool, interesting, dynamic talk about this. I was one time visiting a building. Like, we don't have like really ancient structures in America like you see in Europe per se, but we do have a lot of older buildings on the East Coast. And there was one time where I was getting a tour while I was going visiting a city. And inside the tour, we were inspecting a building that had been started construction in the 1800s. But it took like almost 100 years to finish, and they went through like 6 architects throughout the entire construction, and each architect really had their own unique design and flavor. So you walk through this building, and like every time you entered a different wing, it felt like you were entering a completely different building, because they didn't even try to incorporate each other's styles. Each style just manifested as the person wanted it to. So the building, it feels very weird and kind of janky, but at the same time, it gives you this really interesting insight into just how a different perspective on a job like crafting a building can lead to just insanely different styles and functions and applicability and ease of upkeep for a building, right? So TSF, like, just because you even though they try to make TSFs fairly uniform, like, when you have a design philosophy that's different and a different, like, team for different TSFs, when you're on the design front especially, it really is almost like working with an entirely different creature. It's kind of like trying to claim that creating a game in Unity and a game in Unreal engines for video games, like if you have like 10 years experience making stuff in Unity, that you'd be able to just start working in a different different programming language and game engine and just jump right in and be able to do everything. It's like, no, there's some fundamentals right at the base, at the bedrock, that you just are going to have to relearn, and it's almost like trying to learn a language where you can't just use your knowledge from a previous understanding or different construction and be able to assume you can incorporate it in. So even though the Black Widow 2 is constructed on a very similar frame and on very similar philosophies, incorporating even some of those designs is going to be challenging.
現に XFJ 計画でのタイプ94回収はフェーズ2止まりで、あとは日本に戻ってから時間をかけてやるつもりだったんだろう。ところがここで誤算が生じたと。一つはどこかの開発兵士が非常に優秀なせいで、次から次へとネガを発見し、潰していくもんだからデータの集積が異常な速さで進んだこと。
Oh, interesting. So for the whole first two parts, it felt like the pressure was on to just not suck. And now it finds out, oh, actually turned out our test pilots were doing so good that we kind of are at a loss of what to do.
もう一つは、ソ連の上手な売り込みに、帝国軍上層部の一部がコロッと騙された。かどうかは知らないが、目移りしちゃったことだな。
Now that's the bigger part of it, I think, is that politically, people started running ahead of the program before the program even had a chance to really make a proper report.
上手な売り込み。確かにそうね。兵士の技量を機体性能であるかのごとく見せている節はあるものね。
Yeah, and because of that, like, if you didn't have like a discerning eye, you would look at those numbers and just assume that any pilot could just jump in one of those machines and produce those results. That's just not how that works.
そんなわけで、ハイネマンさんは本気だぜ。モジュールの完成度はかなり高いし、ビエルクトに勝つ戦術機を作るって意気込みもはっきり感じる。ユイ姫だって相当なもんだ。正直、声をかけるどころか、近づくのも怖い時がある。
I imagine that's for lots of reasons.
まあ、とにかく、確実に言えることは、多少見かけが変わっても、こいつは間違いなく94セカンドだってことと、こいつをここまで育てたのは、お前だってことだよ、ユウヤ。こいつは、絶対にソ連に勝てるポテンシャルを持ってる。お前も、持てる全部を注ぎ込んで、こいつの完熟頼むぜ。
I mean, it's hard to not get excited when Vincent's talking like that. Yeah, bro, I'll kick their asses. Wait and see. Oh, Keith? Who are you again? Is this the investigator guy or something or what? Oh. Or is he like that guy who got recruited to do the special operation on Yuuya after the terrorist attack? Oh, no. It's just different people from different departments. Yeah, Yufei. Good to see you again.
随分と体格がいいですね。パワータイプにくら替えあるか。見かけで判断すると痛い目に遭いそうな典型ね。何にしても、ソ連との対決は見ものだわ。
I actually think it's interesting that they're still here. I'm glad. I'm always happy to see Yufei. But, you know, the blue flag was over a while ago. Maybe she's still technically in recovery and that's why they're still here. But I felt like she was pretty much back in the swing of things, and so it's interesting that she hasn't been taken off base yet. You think that they would have rotated her back to, you know, wherever she was before. Oh, there's a bump of music. Here we go. Transferring pilot control settings. Transmission complete. All green.
着座情報。 転送完了を確認。整備兵は94セカンド周辺より退避せよ。
こちらアルファチーム。キツキ整備兵の点呼完了。異常なし。
整備兵の撤収完了を確認。機体起動を開始せよ。
Ah, she looks happy too. Copy that. Initiating startup sequence. Engine output idle. Engine voltage all green.
94セカンド。主電圧異常なし。ジャンプユニット起動。
I know I shouldn't be laughing at that, but I love how she's so short you can barely see her over the computer monitor, even though it's a lot lower. Copy that. Activating jump units. Gantry launch confirmed. Firing the up jump units. Stable at 30% output.
ジャンプユニット起動を確認。出力 30% にて安定。
Now, what's probably happening there is Yuuya's talking into the microphone, and the operators are hearing that. But for the rest of the control room, she's repeating it for everyone else who's there, especially for a test, because there's going to be a lot of people not directly linked in. Now, they might pipe it through the whole speaker system, but that's just usually not protocol. And so even if they were, like, your instincts would be to kind of like repeat. It's something you actually see a lot of if you watch footage of mission control from like Houston for space missions. Is you'll hear people, they'll say, the astronauts will say something, and then they'll be like reported out by control in the control room. But oftentimes, if you're watching stuff that's happening with a camera, they're usually piping the astronauts through the speakers through the whole room anyway. And so the repeating can seem odd, but it's just because usually it's not piped through everything. Ooh, look at that. Oh, that looks sleek. Type 74. You still gotta love the details they put into the TSFs. Flight control surfaces all green. Tail binder operation nominal. Jump units good to go.
ジャンプユニット異常なし。出力関連チェック完了。
ハイネマンさん。
いいかな高村注意。
はい。
ガントリー解放。
コマンドポストよりアルゴス版。ガントリーロック解除。
Oh yeah, here we go. Let's see what this thing can do. God, look at that kit. It does look like a monster with the two swords.
アルゴス版、カタパルト接続完了。進路クリア。
高村注意。君から発信許可を。
It only seems right.
ありがとうございます。コマンドポストよりアルゴス1発信を許可する。
There we go. Argus 1, roger that. Shiranui Second, blast off. Whoosh. Alright, let's see what they think. God, it looks fast.
チェックポイント3マイナス 1.52
It's funny, cause like, so minus what, I can't help but think about speedrunners. You know, you get if you watch a speedrun of a game, and you see like the plus and minus, like that's essentially what they're doing. They're doing a speedrun. Oh. Awesome! So this is what the Shiranui Second is really capable of. This thing's lightning fast. It's flying by the seat of my pants at the speed where if I make a single mistake, the brand new machine will be a smear on the wall, but the sense of stability and security it provides is something else. The Shiranui Second really is the best of both worlds. It can pull off some good old-fashioned American maneuvers effortlessly all while retaining the characteristic agility of Japanese TSFs. It can take tight turns like the machine were on rails. That's actually sounding very cool. I mean, that's supposed to be a hard curve, but it practically sailed through it. You're a monster, partner.
チェックポイント4マイナス 1.98
Guys, maintaining negative numbers. Remember, like these are numbers of records likely set by Yuuya in the Shiranui Second last time he flew in it. And remember, he was getting like bent over trying to shave half seconds or quarter seconds off of his time. But on a first flight run with his brand new TSF, this is like he hasn't even gotten used to it yet, and he's shaving almost 2 seconds off of his time. That's insane. Because you like the margin of error, like I said, it's like a speed run for a video game. The margin of error here is like in milliseconds. So 2 seconds of increased time, especially early in a test where assume it's going to be a pace like breaker is it's like eyebrow raising already.
いい数字だね。もう何日か登場しなければこの数値にはならないと思っていたよ。
Which kind of implies that, like, he might just be so skilled he's hitting his ceiling really quickly, but it also implies that with some extra practice, he could even push it further than they thought.
そうですね。ブリッジ少尉は有能ですから。
I was just planning to do a quick shakedown run, so I didn't bring a chaser, but that was a mistake. I'm in the mood for a little light sparring right now. Bring it on. Alright, let's see how far I can push this baby. Woo! He's just doing barrel rolls. Crap, I took it a little too far. Aggers one here. I burned through all my propellants, unfortunately. I need to RTB now.
コマンドポスト了解。
Interesting. So maybe that's one of its flaws, that it doesn't have reserve tanks very much. Like, because it's so focused on streamlining. Because that's the idea, is like, fuel is heavy. That's part of what makes spaceflight so difficult. It's like, you need so much fuel to get to space, but that means you have so much weight that, like, it makes it so that when you get to space, most of the time, the payload or whatever you can bring up with you is, like, tiny. And so I imagine that might be one of its current flaws, is that it might be so streamlined for speed and success that it might have much more limited range capacity. Either that, or he just literally burned through it too fast. Alright, anyway, back to the Soviet problem.
今日は昨日の最低値を下回った。もはやビアチェナを試験に使う意味はない。
Oh boy, that's rough.
すべての試験は代替可能だ。改良体の状態は安定しているので、交換による計画への支障はない。
原因は判明したのか。
ビアチェナワの思念深層にある種の転写現象が起きている可能性がある。わかりやすく表現すると、トラウマのようなものだ。
Akin to psychological trauma. Not that it could actually be psychological trauma, but perish the thought.
そのトラウマのため、被験体間の精神同調と精神的自己相似性が作用せず、吸収合一化を阻害しているのではないかと考えられる。
I don't know, maybe could it be the fact that, like, she had consigned like herself to death when she like went into, you know, full red mist mode during like the crisis, the terrorist attack, but it was Inia who nearly died, not her, and that was horrifying. And so now she might be too like subconsciously scared to put Inia in that danger again.
もともと指向性タンパクと薬物の併用による感情統制技術は完璧ではない。このような障害が発生する可能性を以前から指摘しており。
ベリャーエフ主任。
なんだ。
仮に彼女の記憶をすべて消去した場合、一からやり直すことは可能。
不可能だな。記憶抹消で対処できるレベルのトラウマであれば、定期調整で修正されているはずだ。
Yeah, it's too deep to even to. It's below memory. It's essentially become instinct.
では、ビャーチェナワはすでに研究素体として欠陥品であると。
原因をビャーチェナワだけに限定して推測した場合はそうなる。ごくわずかだが、シェシチナが原因という可能性も否定できない。その場合、ビアチェナワの精神因子をシェシチナが異物と認識し、無意識に排除していると推測される。
Okay. So he's trying to say... So he's saying that Inia might be part of the problem, but that it should correct itself if it was Inia, if it was from Inia. Inia's like overwhelming, you could call it maybe mental pressure, should overcome it. And the fact it's not makes it much more likely it's a, quote, flaw in Cryska.
この実験からビャーチェナワを外す場合、その後はどうするつもりか。
危機管理プログラムの臨床試験に使用し、その影響や効果の経過観察を行う。
essentially push her brain to the edge and see how far they can go before they crack.
あれを量産するなら、絶対に外せない試験。
Sendek's flaws, he genuinely, I think he cares about them. Fetch my life. I have a mountain's worth of paperwork, no matter how much I write. It doesn't seem like I'm making a dent in the darn thing. Yeah, here I am, giggling to myself like a schoolgirl. Hey, Cryska. Where did she say that song came from? She said it was from something. It was like one of the few memories she had that was like hers. It's actually pretty nice. And I can't help but like feel like it's intentional because I can't help but think about like the dramatic like animated Anastasia movie I grew up watching, even though it's like really, really old, but it was definitely one of the movies that we had. And the whole concept there was Anastasia had memory loss about her, you know, being a Russian princess. But that the one thing she held on to was the ballroom song that she really loved from when she was really young. And so Cryska, being this like kind of ice princess, has this song that she relates so powerfully with as well. It's very, very, and she also has all these memory things that she does. Like, I wonder if the parallel was intentional or if that just happens to be the case. Because I would find it unlikely that the animated, like, I don't think it was Disney. I think it was DreamWorks. The animated DreamWorks film Anastasia had much impact on the creator of Muv-Luv Total Eclipse. I just don't think that that's a connection that would be very likely. But, you know what? Stranger things have happened. Hey, Cryska.
Yuuya.
Wait, you really didn't know I was here? Hey, you. Long time no see.
そうだな。
You sound down. Is everything okay?
それは、いや、問題ない。
おかしいの。クリスカも、私も、おかしいの。このままだと、いらなくなっちゃうの。私も、クリスカも、
And that's the crazy thing is
ダメ
like
になっちゃう。
she's saying it like we'll be done for, but the reality is that it would just be Cryska. Inia is way too important to whatever the Scarlet Twin program is and like how it works. She's like the backbone. And so it's like they're gonna replace Cryska, but Inia like really cares about Cryska as a person. Which of course they wouldn't take into account, or at least it doesn't matter enough to them. Hey, mind if I ask you something?
なんだ
You heard of this chick, Martika. Who is she?
マーティカに会ったのか
Sure did. Right after you guys beat my butt black and blue in the elemental level battle. I was chatting with Inia, you know, the usual, and she appeared out of nowhere. Then she tried to drag Inia away against her will, and I had to stop her. Man, she's got this whole Ice Queen thing down to a pat. Reminds me of how certain someone used to be. I hadn't seen her face around before, so I was wondering if she was a new addition to Idol or something. Come to think of it, you two look really similar. That might be just me being a dummy. First time I saw Balfang guys, I had trouble telling them apart. She's not biting, huh? Something must be weighing on her mind.
マーティカがなぜイニアを
The team battle was scheduled for the next day, so if you ask me, I think she was worried about information leaks. That or she's just a stickler for the rules. Still, something Inia said back then has been bothering me. Something about you and her not being needed anymore. It's that you've been off your game recently, right? Well, even if you're underperforming, you guys still bring the heat. I'm sure the Inia was just making a mountain out of a molehill. Still, I can't help but worry about you two. I mean, he can't. Because he's a bro. And the thing is, she has a good reason to be worried now.
どういうことだ?
Come on, don't play dumb. I'm talking about the Shiranui Second Phase 3.
ああ、演習中に飛んでいたのは見た。確かに、挙動がいつもと違っていたな。
Like, honestly, we're just scratching the surface. The entire point of Phase 3 enhancements was to beat the Barakut. And no, I'm not exaggerating.
それは、戦術機開発としては、間違った施策ではないのか?
Yeah, not in general sense, no. But in the existence of the XLJ program, it absolutely is. Nah, the Phase 3 improvements were baked into the plan from the start. The timeline was just brought forward. It's gonna take me a while longer to get used to how the machine handles, and then it's time for a rematch. I'm not trying to talk big game, but I'm not some jabber I was last time. Underestimate me at your own peril.
油断などしない。私はいつでも全力で挑んでいる。
Good. That way I can kick you off your perch and steal your job for myself.
何?
I admit you guys are pretty darn great, but I'm not gonna let you get your way this time. You'll have to come at me at least 110%, or your butts are gonna end up on the cold, gray streets of Mother Russia. Chill, I'm joking. For the most part.
結果を出せない時のことは言われなくてもよくわかっている。不安を煽っても無駄だ。
She took it way too personal. What? I didn't.
私はどんなことがあっても負けない。負けてはならない。
Oh, yeah.
ユウヤだからといって。
Oh boy. Okay. I know what he was trying to do, but yeah, unfortunately, not the right approach. Hey. Crap. What did I even say this time? A little crap talking never killed anybody. Yeah, something's definitely weighing on her mind. October 19th. Hey! Close to... I don't like that. Like, just the sound. I don't know. That music. It's not even music yet, but it just immediately, that tone just went boom. Like, I felt my stomach drop just now.
はい。
行け。貴様の存在価値を証明してみせろ。
了解。クリスカ。大丈夫。心配しないでいいのよ。でも、負けたら、クリスカいなくなっちゃう。いなくならないわ。絶対に。
She definitely wants you gone.
本当よ。どこにも行かない。ずっとイーニャと一緒にいるから。だから、今日は頑張りましょう。そうしたら、ユウヤもきっと喜んでくれるわ。でも、ユウヤは遠くに行っちゃったよ。クリスカー。絶対に。大丈夫。大丈夫よ。イーニャ、大丈夫。
Oh, we actually at the day. Oh no. So like, it really comes down to like, if they win, they might be able to stick it out together. If they lose, it might be over. But the problem is, if Yuuya wins, the XFJ program continues on, and his work can continue. If he loses, the program falls apart, and he loses his team. Oh no, it's a literal lose-lose. This is it. The fate of the entire development project comes down to this moment, this battle. If we win, the Shiranui Second will be introduced to the Imperial forces before long, and our part in the XFJ program will end. The end of our time together, partner. Maybe I've grown a bit too attached. Control unit's supposed to simply be one part of a finished product. And it's stupid to develop an individual attachment, but I can't agree with that. This is my machine. There might be many like it in the future, but this one is mine. The unit is smattered with my blood, sweat, and tears, and of my friends, too. Can't help but pay my respects. If today's the last time we fight together, might as well go out with a bang. There's Argus 1, copy. Ready to hear from you, Lieutenant. What's the matter? Are our comms acting up or something? Oh, did they push up the test, like, earlier than expected? That's not great. It was sudden, yeah. But it's not like we could turn a deaf ear when orders came directly from Imperial Army. Besides, let's not pretend we're not at fault. Having to beat the Soviets in these trials is a small price to pay when we decided to move forward with the project on our own. Look, just sit tight and relax. It doesn't pay to underestimate me or the Shiranui Second. Unity of rider and horse, remember? I've mastered that sensation. My little pony became a stallion 1,000 times more powerful than before, but I wouldn't mistake my horse for someone else's. I can see it clearly. I can feel it clearly. It's us against the world, together again for the first time. She's like, using my own analogies against me, and not quite in the way I thought you should. It's cool. You were worried, I get it. Copy that. Just kick back and relax, and enjoy the show. Argus 1, roger. Starting up. Argus 1 to all staff members. Better go grab the champagne, because I'm sure as hell winning this. Oh man. Argus 1, copy that. I'm nervous. I'm scared of what this is gonna do. Let's dance, Cryska, Inia. It's game time. Oh my gosh, what's gonna happen? I don't know who I want to win. There you are. None of the noise-making crap. Let's have a proper fight without any trickery. Now that I got the greetings out of the way. And there's that music that's gonna get this video demonetized, but that's okay. Happens all the time, by the way, with this series. 2,500 meters. Oh, oh. 1,500 meters. Oh, oh. That's scary. I knew you'd dodge that. Man, this machine's awesome. Balance, torque, power, tracking. It's all top shelf stuff. He's pulling his arrow. He's like, oh my gosh, don't.
そうかな。バランスの悪い大型機体ならではの挙動不安が出ちゃってるね。特徴がわかりやすい分、振り回すのは簡単だろうけど、微妙な操作をするのは難しいと思うよ。特に格闘戦ではね。出力勝負だけなら分が悪いかもしれないけど、ブリッジス少尉はそんなバカはやらないでしょ。
So, he's worried that, like, when it comes to raw confrontation power toe-to-toe, that the Barracudas would be better. But if he's smart and he uses his maneuverability, which is likely superior in, like, raw numbers-wise, he might be able to get the upper hand.
Inia!
Oh boy. I don't know who I want to win.
強い色。
そうだね。
なんでかな。私のこと嫌いになっちゃったのかな。
そんなことはないわ。集中していいにゃ。頑張っていいところを見せないと。
Focus, Inia. You gotta do your best.
そうだね。
That's a better picture. Oh, fetch me. Running away from me? Do you think I'm an amateur? I can tell when you're aiming for and how the rear pylons move. They've been watching them. He's learning.
なんかとんでもない高レベルの戦いじゃないですか。
普通の対戦よりワンテンポ。いえ、数テンポくらい早いわね。
Yeah, they're both like really pushing hard. There's like, if there's anything you can say that there's passion in this fight.
史上初の第二世代機である F14 の軌道を見た当時の兵士たちは驚愕とともに称賛したという。これがあればベータに勝てると。
Yeah, the jump in design from first to second generation, that's a good one to go and look up because it's like first generation was like basically a tank with legs. Generation 2 was the first time they had the actual like what we would consider a TSF type build. It would have been like looking at a whole different species. You'd never guess that it was a single generation jump because it looked so radical.
そして同時にこう言ったと言われている。これだけの高機動機を普通の人間が扱うことは可能なのかと。
Yeah. Yeah.
結果は諸君らの知る通りだ。我々は第二世代戦術機の能力を使い切り、そして今や時代は第三世代戦術機が運用されている。ブリッジスは設定をピーキーに振りたがっていたが、それは間違いではないと。彼という見本があるのだ。いずれ誰もが同じ動きをする時代が来るのかもしれない。
He's got a point. It's kind of crazy to think about like long term, but like he's right. He's right that like it's gonna keep pushing and pushing and pushing.
押されているではないか、サンダーク隊員。
ですが、想定の範囲内です。
被験体に不具合が発生したと聞いたが、なぜ不良個体を優先して使用したのか説明してもらいたいな。我々の立場は理解しているのだろうな。
This guy clearly was the catalyst for the behind closed doors deals.
ご安心ください。先日の比較演習も同じ流れでした。閣下が以前おっしゃられていましたよ。あまりにも圧倒的な勝利では無用の戦策を生みかねません。第一戦は落としても構わないと考えております。それよりは能力の減退を見せた被験体の回復を我々がコントロールできるかどうかの実験を。
I mean, you can hear it, this is very political, but I do think that this is him on the back foot. I think he's trying to justify what's happening rather than, like, I think he really wanted her just to shine.
先走った考えだったな、サンダーク隊員。あの時とは情勢が異なる。この演習は次期職長も注目している。一戦たりとも落とすわけにはいかない。
No one can afford to lose here.
わかりました。それでは早速打開策を講じるとしましょう。ベリアイフ主任、プラーフカの準備。
Oh boy, here we go. Ha, can you really afford to leave yourself exposed like that, Cryska?
落ち着いていいにゃ。焦らなくても大丈夫よ。
だってユウヤをやっつけないとクリスカが。
これは。
Oh, here they go. They're activating Doom mode. Ready or not, here I come. What?
あれはあん時の。
They're in death mode. Now they might actually kill him, though. They're gonna try. Son of a b! They dodged all my shots! Woohoo! That was too close for comfort. I'd be a goner if it wasn't for phase 3. Yeah, they're using the drugs and post-hypnotic suggestion combo again. All the signs are there. No way I wouldn't notice. Captain Sendek, why have you figured why haven't you figured it out? You're meant to be a mastermind, you blind mother trucker. The drugs and post-hypnotic boost their ability tenfold, but it wreaks total havoc on their condition. Why do you think a pair of regular humans could win last time? I'll prove to you over and over again until I drill into your head that you don't need to resort to that bullcrap to get crap done. Cryska, Inia. I'll save you as many times as it takes. Please just bear with it for a little longer. These guys are scary. That's sick. Jeez.
反射というレベルではない。読みという話でもない。人間の領域を超えているのではないか。
I fetch up once and I'm dead. The reflexes are borderline inhuman. It's like they know what I'm planning to do beforehand. How am I doing in ammo? Only 47 rounds in the 33mm. May as well throw it away. Alright, hips taking a hit. Mobility is unaffected. I love the basic animations they display. Oh, you have a Ripper Blade? Same as last time, huh? Let's dance. Ah! What? What? Wait, literally, what? It just, what? What the fetch? RX-1 to command post. It's an emergency. Request immediate suspension of the exercise.
Command post よりアルゴス1。現座標にて待機せよ。ソ連側の回答を待て。
Scarlet Twins wouldn't screw up like this. It's totally obvious something's happened again. Fetch that, Argus-1. Moving to commence rescue of the Soviet pilots. That's all.
待ってください、アルゴス。ブリッジス少尉、救助活動を停止してください。
You can't be serious.
ブリッジス少尉、ソ連軍からの要請です。救助活動の即時停止要請です。
What? You sure you got that right?
ブリッジス少尉、はっ、ブリッジス少尉、その場で待機だ。たった今、ソ連軍が救助部隊を派遣したという知らせがあった。その場で待機せよ。
Yuuya.
その場で待機だ。国際問題にしてくれるな。
Son of a b. This is a repeat of what happened last time. Argus-1, copy that. Standing by at my current position. Cryska, Inia.
Yuuya.
Vincent, any news on the Berkut? Who's that? Who's this guy? U.S. military police. Oh boy. I'm Second Lieutenant Yuuya Bridges. What's going on? What are the MPs doing here? American ones at that. Great, of course. Because, you know, we totally did something wrong. Detain me? What the fetch? Hey, chill out a little. Gosh darn. Do I even get an explanation?
我々は先ほど XFJ 計画関係者全員の逮捕拘束を行いました。拘束自由は軍事機密漏洩。
Alright.
94セカンドにはアメリカ技術漏洩の嫌疑がかかっています。
The timing of this is real suspect. Have you people lost your minds? It's a joint development program. There can't be a leak of confidential information by definition.
詳細につきましては担当官にお尋ねください。尋問の際に。では、ここで順番が来るのをお待ちください。
Ain't that cool?
繰り返しになりますが、現在、 XFJ 計画にかけられている権利を要約しますと、ATSF 計画で試作された YF23 系の封印技術を無許可転用したのではないかということです。
Oh, this stinks of politics so bad. Oh no, we actually got a technical victory in this scuffle with the Brakut. Maybe we should absolutely just rip the cannon lid off the top of this program and try and suppress it now, because apparently it's actually successful. We wouldn't want that to happen, because it would undermine our efforts with the Raptor. I don't know, it's stupid. We're gonna stop here, because this is all very emotionally charged, and I feel like I'm just going to be very angry. I'd rather let whatever's gonna happen from here on play out and let us like really kind of take it in. And again, we just don't have any idea what's happening to Cryska and Inia because of this insanity that's just popping off right away. Like, how did we go from like running a legitimate test to being like arrested upon return from said test? Like I said, the timing is so suspect. It's mind-blowing. How on earth is this happening right now? Like, it seems way too connived. There's something else going on. But, you know, we'll deal with that fun next time. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for joining me on the channel, for being a part of this journey. I genuinely thought I'm very sidelined by this. Didn't think that we're going to arrest you for incorporating too much secret tech into your secret project that's totally approved. You know, kind of super sus in a lot of ways. I just think there's a lot here that's very strange. But I'm curious to see where it's going to go. You know, there's a lot of interesting stuff on the horizon, and we're creeping closer and closer to, you know, some pretty meaty events in the alternative timeline. So I wonder how much of it if we're going to see any overlap at all, or if this storyline is going to essentially end around the time where anything on the Yukon base would actually intercept or like meet up with the alternative events. Eventually they will, you know, someday they have to, but, you know, we'll have to see. And we'll have to see how all this ties together, hopefully, because so far it's just freaking annoying. Yeah, so we'll get to all that next week. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your support, especially to the patrons and members. Like, I don't deserve you. I'm really grateful to you, though, for your belief in the content I'm making and that I can make it worth your while. I hope I can keep doing that and keep making it feel like I'm worthy of support, despite the fact I don't feel like I am. I'm grateful that you think I am. And, you know, I opened up those channels at kind of essentially the request for some people who wanted to support me. And the fact that that's still happening is amazing to me. So thank you. But most importantly, thank you for watching this. I hope you enjoy. I look forward to reading your comments and seeing what you think. Obviously, no spoilers, but I'd love to know what you thought about all of that and about the Shiranui Second Phase 3, which is a beautiful machine. But we'll have to discuss that later. So until next video, watching me up, see me next. I'll see you there.